hidden devil, his army of clones, at his jaw did they revel. They came after us, crossed the borderline, took all our offers to send down their mines, while the feathered beast read out the bop. So cried the trekker, this madness must stop. Toss a coin to your trekker, oh planet of plenty, oh planet of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your trekker, oh planet of plenty. The vile Kurogans fled and hid what they had stole. The orphan was shackled and kept in the cold. But he did not relent. The third king was hell-bent. He slayed the Kurogans, then to Bird's house he went. And with a mighty blow he struck that button red. The mighty bird folded in two by his bed. That's my epic tale, our champion prevailed. So let's drink a toast with some Romulan ale. Toss a coin to your trekker, oh planet of plenty, oh planet of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your trekker, oh planet of plenty, oh planet of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your trekker, oh planet of plenty, oh planet of plenty, oh. Toss a coin to your trekker, the great turd of Stanley.
Sad rear own. There's no one, just me only, sitting on my little throne. I work very hard and make up great plans. Nobody listens, no one understands. Seems like no one takes me seriously. So I'm lonely. It around me, pour it on me. There's nobody I can relate to. Feel like a bird in a cage. It's kinda cheery, but not weary, 'cause it's filling my body with rage. I'm the world's most athletic, most physically fit, but nobody else seems to realize it. When I change the world, maybe they'll notice me. But until then, I just be lonely. Yeah, rid of lonely. Pour it on me. I'm so
Now that's a franchise I'd watch. Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the Anti-Trucker here. Yes, I actually cut it off a little early because I've got everything situated. So, and Rambling likes that song the best. I'm sorry, Rambling. But I just wanted to get into it a little bit. So, Darth Maul was first in the house today. Good to see you. Mike Richards says, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Resolute's here. Rambling Rattlesnake says, who else knows this song is a parody of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher? Indeed it is. John DeMarco says, good evening. Jeff Franklin says, keep pushing the timer back. Pretty soon you'll actually start on the next day at the time you were supposed to start on the prior day. That's probably true. Renegade says, afternoon, and from fellow nerds. 80 protest madness in the Kingdom of Turkestan. Fortunately, no, in Turkestan we are completely protest free, but that is of course because we are good people. Yeah. Bradley says, up everybody. Mike Richards says, throwing some laughing, crying emojis in there. Why not? Oh, at Jeff. And Resolute says, a 5-minute timer wasn't enough for you. Indeed. We have to be the best. Seriously, it's way too late to be pleading for people not to riot. No, it's not. It's never too late to plead for people not to riot. Just because there's been some violence, obviously, already, doesn't mean that we can't call for an end to it. And so, it's really frustrating because I understand, I truly understand why people are angry over George's death. I absolutely get that. However, most of the people that are causing the trouble in these protests are not the people that are actually angry over George's death. These are people that are opportunists, just basically trying to use the protests as an excuse to wreak havoc. And those people need to be arrested and prosecuted, and they need to rot in jail. That's my humble opinion. These people that are attacking the police, these people that are, like I was watching some footage earlier in San Jose where they were literally building barricades in the streets and trying to fight the police. No, these people need to be in jail, period. That being said, the police officer that was charged with third-degree murder, I hope he ends up rotting in jail. I truly do. And as for the other police officers, now I have not examined the entire video of the incident, but I will say this: of the other police officers that were on the scene at the time, and I'm glad they haven't brought them up on criminal charges yet. They need to be brought up on criminal charges, but their criminal charges should be dependent on what the initial officer is charged with, or convicted of, assuming he's convicted. If he is convicted of murder, which he is charged with third-degree murder, then the other officers on the scene should be charged with accessory to murder. However, if he's only convicted of manslaughter, then they need to change the charges to accessory to manslaughter or whatever that might be. I don't, every state has different rules as to what they charge with, but the charges for them should be basically that they passively allowed this to happen. So yeah. Bradley says they need other 4K TVs, so they have to riot. Yeah. Actually, I don't believe it's even that. I think that a lot of the people that are rioting, they're basically anarchists. They just want to, like they're Joker. They want to watch the world burn. Epic Beard says, "Hi, Ant Tricker. Please go away now. Cheers." You've been watching The Critical Drinker, haven't you? Sci-Fi Sith says, "Hello there. How you doing?" "I still pissed," says Sam. "I'm sorry, I guess." And the Orville family is throwing googly eyes at themselves. Okay. "Make intros like Scotty. Make them 4 times longer than they need to be and cut it short. Miracle worker." See, you got it figured out. Jess says, "People are so destructive." That is true. Darren says, "Wow, no notification." Of course not. Cinnabon is in the house, says, "Hello, how you doing?" And Orville family now puts Bunny and the googly eyes. Not sure what the googly eyes are for. "How's it going in your neck of the woods?" Says John DeMarco to Cinnabon, so I guess that wasn't for me. So here they're pretty quiet, actually. They did have a protest in Nashville, but my understanding is it went fairly quietly. 90% of them are Antifa a-holes. Some of them in Minneapolis are now from Seattle and Portland area. Yeah. I don't know I can't say with any certainty that they're Antifa, but they certainly are behaving like Antifa. Darren says, "I don't want the murder cop to rot in jail. I want him to go to jail and find Jesus." Fair point. I will say fair point there. But you understand my sentiment. I want him to go to jail. And regardless of whether he finds Jesus, I want him to serve out his time. Sorry, I guess I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was. Hold on. get some real liquid refreshment going here. Well, what do we got here? How about a little bit of Smirnoff? That's always yes. A little bit of Smirnoff with a twist of lime. Why? Because I lift my glass to George and his family. I hope to George, I hope you're in heaven with his family. Man, endure. All right, let's go back to it. Valor says the riders tend to, let's see, blow up a police station by severing gas lines, making the whole area unsafe. Yeah, I heard about that. I haven't seen it. Darth Maul says, according to the autopsy, the victim had health issues. The officer, unfortunately, put him over the edge. Well, yeah, I know they're going to have... I'm sure that there's only been preliminary reports from the autopsy. The only thing that I've heard is that they don't have definitive evidence of the cause of death as of yet. But, yeah. And so... Sci-Fi says how much longer for your 3D printout? Well, this one... I'll show you guys. So this is obviously a ship, is very, very close to being done. This one is actually going to Bird o' Prey. And let me see if I can make this work. And there we go. If I stay over here. So yeah, this one is going to Bird o' Prey. You can see it's almost done. It'll be done before this live stream's over. And so I think it looks pretty cool and clear, actually. But then the next one we shall see. With Sci-Fi, I will be printing them as quickly as I can, but it takes a while. Mr. Miles says, I haven't heard any Antifa stuff about it, but I imagine there's some overlap. But yeah, I would guess there is. The behavior pattern is definitely there. But yeah. MLP says the people rioting are disgraceful. Indeed, because, I mean, honestly, here's the funny thing is, I mean, I was talking to Miss Zanchecker about it. It's like, even Trump, Trump doesn't usually take the populist side of these types of events. And, man, his tweets have been vicious about, because I guess, like, some of the leadership where it happened have been saying, oh, it's because he was on drugs and stuff like that, but yeah. And Darren says, well, yeah, murder cop should go to jail. I'm thinking maybe also chaining a German Shepherd to his taint, but a jail will suffice. Some solitary confinement too. Wow. Whew. That's a little over the top there. And let's see. Let's see. Robert says, hello tonight. Caught LDG Pixels while you're on LDG and his economic idea. Yeah. LDG is definitely Batwoman crazy. I actually enjoyed being on his show, and, he's a nice enough guy, even if he is Batwoman crazy. But that's the thing. I don't want to have only people I agree with around. If I did, then it would get awful boring, awful fast, and I don't like echo chambers. But LDG, definitely no chance of us ever agreeing on economics. That's for sure. There are good and bad apples for every occupation. I guess the cop was a bad apple and got caught, and now much face the consequences for his actions. Yeah, you see, that is a problem. In that obviously, most people who get into law enforcement are good people. Most of them care about their community, and that's why they get into law enforcement. Most of them they believe in the ideals of this country. Unfortunately, then you have dicks like this guy. Right, and where the guy is on the ground. I mean, like I said, I haven't watched the entire video, but Mrs. Anti-Checker has, and she was describing some of it to me, and it's like the guy was on the ground and passive, and so whatever. Trump tweets are just adding fuel to the flames. I think he's enjoying this, as will only harden his base. I don't know, Vile. His tweets, maybe you haven't seen them, but his tweets have been actually quite supportive of George and his family. So I don't think that, you know, if you, and because I know you're much further left than I am, but if you believe that Trump's base is a bunch of racists, then shouldn't they be opposed to what Trump is doing? So, you know. Darren says solitary confinement is over the top. No, I think the German Shepherd strapped to his taint would be over the top. LDG, speaking of the crazy guy, says it was fun, but glad we made some agreed points. Well, only because you gave in. And Brian says, hey, nice 3D printed chip. Does the saucer spin like Discovery? Just kidding. Careful, Brian, careful. On a more fun topic, ETA to when we will put the ship on the anti-outlet. Well, you can see that the first... It's not done yet, is it? Is it done? No, not quite. It's almost. It's good. It'll be done like any minute now. It'll raise out of the back completely when it's done. So this one is obviously reserved for Bird of Prey. I have one that I have to get to Wesley Crusher. The next one is going to be the model ship for the anti-outlet. So I need to have at least one in reserve and ready to go when we put it on the anti-outlet. And so that'll be the next one after. So it'll be the ship after the next one, if that makes sense. So hopefully, if all goes well, that it will be printed and ready by Sunday. Assuming I don't have another failed print like I had earlier. I was so mad. The first copy of Bird Ship was a failed print. I still have no idea what went wrong during the print. It doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Pianodean says, I think we all agree, regardless of the actual cause of death, it never helps when someone is crushing your neck. I would dare say that is an accurate statement. Unless you're a proctologist, you see a-holes all the time. That's true. Oh, it looks like the printer's actually done now. I thought it was going to rise out, but I guess because the nacelles are so long that they don't quite get out of there. So, hold on, guys. Well, I'll wait till somebody super chats, and then I'll do it then. You won't hear a lot about Antifa, and the media always avoids mentioning them as much as possible because of the negative way people react to them. Very true. Now you're not ragging on German Shepherds. I'm not ragging on German Shepherds. I'm just saying strapping one to a person's taint is kind of a bit much. You don't think so? I voted for Trump. I see him as lesser of two evils. Doesn't make me racist for it. I'm sick of people using that to silence others' opinions. Well, I tend to agree. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that everybody that supports Trump is a racist, obviously. I did not vote for Trump, but I also did not vote for Clinton. I voted for Gary Johnson. And to me, that was just a protest vote. I voted for Gary Johnson just because he wasn't Trump or Hillary.
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky!
In the military, shoot a tree when one isn't supposed to and get court-martialed and go to Leavenworth. Cops hurt the unarmed and get paid retirement. WTF?
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing. This guy is not exactly doing well. I mean, yes, there have been cops in the past that have, they go on paid administrative leave and all this stuff and nothing bad ever happens. This guy's getting charged with murder. So they're taking it seriously. So props to the local DA and all that for that. But in the meantime, even though Yeager is not from Australia or Canada, I think we're going to enjoy and Joe Biden donated $1. Oh, geez. What did he say?
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Yes, my brothers burn towns to the ground. And when thousands of you get the virus, it will help me in October election. Democrats sheep. Wait, scratch that. I need the sheep to vote for me.
Wow. Joe Biden, you're the only person I know. Joe Biden is the only person I know that's crazier than Alexander and LDG Pixels. I'm just saying. Anyway, I will be right back, so enjoy just a little bit of Bird o' Prey 5's Australian brother.
And in Tasmania, they're all cousins. the cousins marrying each other. Tasmania is what you Americans would call Alabama or Mississippi, but that's our Tasmania. They're all effed up down there, and you think Foster's is Australian beer, but it's shit? No, we drink koala beer here. That's the...
Alright, so as you can see right now, there's nothing there. So, and by the way, I don't know if I showed this off, but this is so cool. This is a USB drive that actually is a key. So it's the size of a key. Anyway, so I need to put in the USB drive. And I'm going to copy a new file over. Bear with me just a minute. And Starfleet Battle Group, Wrangler, sliced. Let's see. Wow, there's two different. Oh, I'm not sure. Let's see. What's the type of file? That's the type of file one. All right, so it's this one. All right, so I'm copying over the file, 1.4 gigabyte file that I created earlier today. And so bear with me. And Valor puts in a couple of bucks. Thank you so much, Valor. I appreciate it, my friend. And we'll just a second for the disembodied voice to catch up and meanwhile the file is still copying because it's huge. And I got 8 million things running at once. And any minute now. Any minute now. There it is.
Hello, world.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky!
You pick.
So you want me to pick, huh? Let's do some cereal. Is that the
A
right-
new cereal from the people who brought you Frosted Fruity Holes.
Yay! Bacon and eggs! Stop right there, kid! You can't eat that! That's a disgrace! You're better off with Plenty Puffs! What the heck is this stuff made of?
It's made of all the flowers and stuff from your mom's garden!
What?
Son, your mother and I had a talk, and I'm bringing the belt. Plenty Puffs. Why the f*** is this even a thing?
Yes, Plenty Puffs. The greatest cereal, well, no, probably one of the worst cereals ever invented. Darren says, I think you watched your Hulk video at least 9 times today. Actually, no. Oh, you watched my Hulk video at least 9 times today. Wow, I'm sorry, Darren. How long does it take, how long for you to make that type of 3D printout? That particular one took about 10 hours. And I wanted to increase the resolution a little bit, but that would make the print take longer. So I'm doing an experiment. I managed to adjust it a little bit, and that's the file that I'm copying over to the USB drive right now. Is going to print 2 of the ships simultaneously at a higher resolution. And so the nice thing about this type of printer is that as long as it fits on the build plate, it doesn't matter how much stuff it's building. The only thing that matters is how high it's building to determine how long it takes. So 2 ships at the higher resolution. It's not the highest resolution it can do, but I'm trying. I don't want to go too crazy with it. But the 2 ships should take 16 hours to print, which is still 8. That's 8 hours per ship roughly, which is still 2 hours shorter than it took to print this one by itself. So hopefully that will work. And LDG put in $5. Thank you, my friend. any minute now. Hello. Any minute. Seriously? I mean, I know as soon as I give up on it, it's gonna play. So there it is.
Hello, world.
Wow.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky!
Twitter just announced it's closing shop. Rather take the money and run than be a true public forum. Less competition, I guess.
Well, I assume you're making that up, LD, because when I just did a Google search, I did not see anything on there about Twitter shutting down. However, if Twitter did shut down, good riddance. I wouldn't miss it. I mean, talk about toxic. Holy crap. But since LD is definitely not Australian, but kind of like Canadian.
Yeah, lastly, what's they called? Rabbits? No, not rabbits. But I think it has an aw in it. Rodents. There are some type of rodents with the hands. Momo Prey, you know what I'm talking about. Eh? The animals that get into the garbage and they have the face with the mask and they look all like they're a thief and raccoons, yes, raccoons. Yes, I said they start with R. The raccoons, we have so many raccoons here.
Okay, so if you watch the printer now, you should be able to see there it is lowering into the vat, even as we speak, to start out a brand new print, and hopefully it works out okay. Making some weird noises, but that printer does that sometimes. All right, there we go, and we'll see how it does. And yeah, so let's see. Darth Maul says, "I think this is the only time where most people can see the cop. I think this is the only time where most people see the cop murdering this man. Me trying to be impartial as I can. I want to see what led this cop to his action. I don't see it." Well, if you, Mrs. Antrigger, like I said, saw the full 10-minute version of the video. And that's the disturbing thing about it, is that it didn't seem like there was any real cause for the cop to do this. I haven't seen the full video, so I can't speak from firsthand experience, but from what Mrs. Antrigger says, is he was escorting the guy in cuffs back to the police car, and then he got on the guy, he basically put the guy on the ground and then put his knee on him. Why? I don't know. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. So, who knows? Darren says, I just learned about taint about a year ago. Had no idea they're using the word for that thing until then. Wow. Darren.
I got him! Great hit!
And thank you, Resolute.
F Twitter use Gab and Parler. Number 7.
Well, I don't know anything about Gab or Parler. I don't know anything about either one of them. But I'll assume they're better than Twitter. Oh, there's Twitter. Ah, yes, the classic. Thank you so much, Resolute. I do appreciate it. So, Coolio, I just look forward to it. Maybe I can have you record something to add to my standard commercial like Caddy did when she opened Caddy's Corner. Yeah, we could definitely do something like that. By the way, let me say, Vile, I really enjoyed your last review. And if you're not already, you should be subscribed to Vile Mike. He and his daughter Caddy do these great reviews of TOS Star Trek. And so from an old geezer's point of view, who's a fan of the show for a long time, and his young daughter, who, of course, thinks that everything he says is stupid because it's his young daughter. Jaeger says, my father called me a German from the 1940s because I asked why Orange Man is bad. That really? That's messed up. Look, here's the thing. If you like Trump or you hate Trump, I don't care. We can talk about it. There are some things I like about him. There are some things I absolutely do not like about him. And, but to consider if somebody says, oh, why is Trump bad? That's not grounds to call them a German from the 1940s. That makes no freaking sense. And honestly, Jaeger, I don't know how well this would go over, but if it were my dad saying that to me, I would simply respond with, you clearly don't know anything about that particular group if you want to compare Orange Man to that group. Vile Mike says, I actually voted for Johnson too. To me, it was the least of three evils. Well, yeah, it was a protest vote because I just could not bring myself to vote for either of the two main party people. And so Jaeger says, I would enjoy Bird talking like an Aussie. Well, you heard that earlier. Well, at least that's what Bird thinks it was. Man, I'm so far behind. Hi, it's Trigger. How's it going? Hey, Multi-Gunman. I'm hanging in there, my friend. Good to see you. Darth Maul says, could you turn your ships into beverage bottles? I think it would be awesome to get a clear one as a bottle and fill it with a little liquid courage. Could you? Probably. I don't know that, while this resin, once it's cured, is perfectly safe, I don't know that it would be certified for food, for food or beverage. So I don't know that I could honestly, in good conscience, make something that was a beverage container and give it out, because I don't know that this stuff is considered safe for consumables like that. But I like the idea. But yeah. Sci-Fi Sit Down says, how long for you to make that type of 3D printout? Well, I kind of already went over it. It takes approximately 10 hours to print one, 16 hours to print two with a different method. This is going to print them at a higher resolution. If it's worth it, I will continue to print them at the higher resolution. If I don't see that much of an improvement, then I will drop the resolution back down to speed things up a little bit. And of course, once I get the larger format printer, it'll be so much better. But unfortunately, that printer is a ways off. Captain Trek is in the house, says, hello, how you doing, my friend? Hope your stream went well. Hulk, like your review. Hulk, give Anti-Trucker big hug. I don't know if I want a big hug from Hulk. That's kind of scary. Daniel says, what's up, Doc? I can't do Bugs Bunny, but I assume that you've been watching HBO Max. I have not. I don't have HBO, but I hope you enjoyed it. And Jess says, did the video stream end? No. Sci-Fi Sit Dad says, how much material do you have to make how many prints before needed to spend an arm and a leg on more material? Well, that's another thing I'm kind of learning as I go. A 1 liter bottle of resin is approximately $30 to $35 on the low end of the price scale. And that's the resin that I'm currently using, the Elegoo resin, which is the same manufacturer as this printer. It's a decent resin, and it is relatively inexpensive at $30 to $35 a bottle. Resin goes up to much, much higher prices. Like, for example, LDG actually found a glow-in-the-dark resin, very cool, but it was like $85 for a quarter liter. And so, so $85 for a quarter of a liter compared to $30 for a liter. Yeah, big difference there. So based on what I'm doing, I would say that a liter will probably get me, because here's the thing, I've been, running all these prints, just kind of testing stuff, and depending on the thickness of the walls or whether I print it solid, it's much better if you print it solid, but if you hollow it out, you can conserve your your resin. This particular print that's going now is going to be hollow. It's my first attempt at doing something that's hollow in the clear resin. If it looks like crap, I'll go back to making it solid, but solid uses a lot more resin. If I'm doing them solid, I can probably get about 3 or 4 ships out of a bottle. And so roughly that means about $10 worth of resin per ship if I'm printing them solid. If I print them hollow, I can probably get 5 to 8 out of a bottle. And so obviously the cost of the resin goes down substantially, but I want to see how it looks. If it doesn't look good, I'm going to stick with doing them solid, and I just have to, make up the difference in the cost. And so let's see. Where was I? I got lost. Here we go. Rambling Canuckus in the house says, hello, how you doing, my pain brother? Vile Mike says, thanks for the plug-in, even though compared to most of the people here, I am another crazy lefty. Well, here's the thing, and you know this, Vile. I know that you know this, but just to be clear, if there's anybody in here that doesn't know this, while I disagree with Vile Mike politically on a lot of stuff, I obviously disagree with LDG Pixels. If you haven't seen it, you should check out LDG's live stream from this morning. We went at it on economics mostly. But I love having you here. We have the common bond of being nerds, of being Trekkies. That's what brings us together. And the beauty of it is we can fight about this stuff and be friends. That's what's lost. That's what the biggest problem I have with the SJW versus the Fandom Menace crowd. Because they fight and they hate each other with a passion. Now, granted, if I had to pick a side that I identify with, I'm more Fandom Menace than I am SJW. But at the same time, I don't agree with the hatred from either side. I think that that needs to end. And so I absolutely believe with all my heart that we need to get past this. And that's why, like, Daniel's Hot Topics is here right now. Daniel's Hot Topics loves some of the stuff that I don't, right? So, like, and I don't hide that fact. I don't hide the fact that I disagree with some of you guys on stuff. I'm honest with you about it. But that does not change the fact that I love each and every one of you, and we are all bound together as nerds, and that's what's important. All right, and so, sorry, I know, long, boring, repetitive speech. Speaking of which, Daniel's Hot Topic says, does anyone know if Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon? I saw the finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 6, the premiere of Season 2, and it's awesome. Here's the thing, and this goes for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well as the Netflix shows and stuff like that. Are they canon? They are, unless they're not. And so, for example, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you will see the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. do things that are directly related to events from the Marvel movies. So you'll see them, for example, doing cleanup after what happened in London in Thor: The Dark World, right? And stuff like that. And so in that respect, yes, it's canon. However, you will not see too many references in the movies to events from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's why, for example, Phil Coulson, the main character of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., has been dead since the first Avengers movies, as far as the movies are concerned. He was killed by Loki, and he's been dead ever since. That, as far as the films are concerned, the Avengers think Agent Coulson is still dead. The only person in the movies that knows that he's alive is Nick Fury. And Nick Fury apparently ain't talking about it. So, is it officially canon? They'll basically say, yeah, it's canon, unless they want to do something in the movies that contradicts it, in which case they'll say, well, it was just a TV show, doesn't count. Jaeger says, I wish I was making it up. My father and brother have lost their minds. Guess I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm sorry, Jaeger, but I also can feel your pain, because I am definitely the black sheep of my family. There are members of my family who I'm not spoken with in many, many years because I'm not a liberal Democrat. And I know that might sound stupid, but it's absolutely true. Let's see. And whereas Man of Sand says pandemic shutdown means a lot of idle people, especially idle youth. That's a recipe for trouble. That's why Trump's right to reopen the economy ASAP and get people working again. Well, there's more to it than that. I agree that as far as the violent protesters, you're probably hitting on something. I agree. However, I think that Trump wants to get the country reopened to salvage the economy more than because he's worried about protesters getting violent. Jaeger says, I tried to talk things out. Father isn't saying anything, and brother is just a condescending prick. I am truly sorry. And I've learned, and it's been difficult. And sometimes Mrs. Anti-Trekker has to, check me and say, no, stop. Because I just have to learn there are certain members of the family, do not talk about politics in any way, shape, or form. Do not talk about current events that could potentially lead to politics. Do not talk about anything that could even remotely lead to a conversation involving anything political whatsoever. Which means, hi, good food, how's the weather? Well, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. Darren says, did you vote third party during the Dewey Truman election too? Renegade says, yes, but not risk poisoning your followers if you wish to hit 100,000 subs. Yeah, best not to risk poisoning your followers if you want to hit 100,000 subs. Yes. Well, first of all, I don't consider you guys followers. I consider you friends, but thank you. But yes, I definitely don't want to poison you. A, because I consider you my friends. And B, yes, I do eventually want to get 100,000 subs so I can quit my freaking job. You need one of those 3D printers that uses biomimetic gel. Yeah, that would be great. Too bad they haven't been invented yet. Joseph, I don't know which, because I don't know what country you're from, says, did you notice that last week the biased media was saying protesting against the COVID lockdown was so dangerous? This week they're encouraging protests. That's funny. I didn't think about that, but you are absolutely right. That is weird, but very true. Wow. Let's Talk Star Trek is in the house. Hey, let's talk Star Trek. How you doing, my friend? And says, hi, sir. You don't have to call me sir. I do, in fact, work for a living. I know you have to call, like, Nerdrotic, sir, or you'd have to call Doomcock, my liege, but no, I'm just a regular schmo like the rest of you. Darth Maul says, you give me the power cue. I just realized it. Thanks. You've had it for a while. You just didn't know it. Darren says, Kayla said fighting enriches the spirit. You know what? It's funny because I love a good... That's why I gotta say, LDG, thank you for the sparring match this morning. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of funny because after we were done, I had to run downstairs for just a second before I logged in for work. And Mrs. Anti-Trekker and Joshua were like, are you okay? What was all that? Because I was yelling so loud that they could hear me downstairs. And I had to say, oh, don't worry. We were having a great old time. But thank you. I actually really did enjoy that. And I agree. There's a lost art form, unfortunately. And that lost art form is called argumentation. I love a good argument. And so I absolutely do. And we had fun today, even though I still think LDG is Batwoman crazy. I had a great time arguing with him this morning. And obviously, since LDG is here right now, I'm pretty confident he doesn't hate me after our conversation this morning. And that's the freaking point! We can argue, we can disagree, we can go head to head and just bash each other's brains out, but at the end of the day, we can still be friends. And yes. So Kalis is right. And Let's Talk Star Trek says, any chance you would be a guest on my Let's Talk Star Trek in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know what your schedule's like, Let's Talk Star Trek, but here's what you want to do. And being absolutely serious here, and this is true not just of you, but anybody, if you want to have a great appearance from the almighty Anti-Trekker, which of course I'm nothing, but I'm more than happy to come in and hang out with you guys, is reach out to me on Twitter That's the best way to get a hold of me, just being honest about it right now. There are so many different things, and I'm bad about Discord. I'm horrible about antitrekker.com. Not going to lie. Reach out to me on Twitter. Send me a direct message. Don't just put a random tweet out in the Twitter sphere. I'll never see it. But send me a direct message. Best thing to do, and again, just being honest about it, is after you send me a direct message, come to one of my live streams and say, hey, I sent you a direct message on Twitter. Can you please check it? Because sometimes I get direct messages from people that I don't know who it is, so I don't bother with it. So you send me a direct message, remind me on a live stream, and what we need to establish is, what is your schedule like? And then we'll work it out to where as soon as I'm not working or not streaming myself and you're streaming, we'll make it happen. I absolutely have no problem with that whatsoever, my friend. Because I love talking to you guys about all sorts of stuff. And if we're going to talk Star Trek, holy crap, I love talking about Star Trek. Although I will tell you, TOS, that's my bag right there. So you want to have fun talking to me about Star Trek, you need to be talking about something that involves TOS. All right. Vile Mike says, I did not see anything today at Checker Work, plus helping roommates working on making piece to record in my storage unit. Wow. I've started a riot to end all rioting. Okay, I'm kidding. Yeah, let's not joke about rioting. Ooh, man. Did I just hear the closest thing to a compliment from Antitrekker? Thank you. Love you too, sir. Well, you're welcome, but don't think that you're off my, crap list or anything. Renegade says, those of us who truly embrace diversity can embrace those who have differing opinions. That's why the forced diversity from SJWs comes off as false, and this is from a lefty. I agree, Renegade, 100%. And that's the thing. I think you guys know it by now, but I love diversity. But the most important to be, I thought of something absolutely horrible by talking about the fact that, since Mrs. Antitrekker is black, I could say I literally love diversity. But that's just bad. But the most important form of diversity is diversity of thought. And if we are an echo chamber, if we all agree on everything, hell, if we all agree on anything, there's a problem. We should, no matter what the question is, unless it's something crazy like, were the Germans from the 1940s right? Unless it's something like extreme like that, we should disagree on just about everything. And we do. We disagree on Kirk versus Picard, on Picard versus Cisco, on Star Trek versus Star Wars, on Battlestar Galactica versus Stargate, on all of this stuff. We're going to disagree on this stuff. And we can fight about it and have a great time fighting about it. And if we don't have diversity of thought, then this whole thing, us talking, is a complete waste of time. My wife and I are old liberals from the 70s. Remember our Nixon in Vietnam quite clearly. George is in the house. Good to see you, George. Thought of the latest snapshots of the ship. Let's see. I actually really like where it's going, man. I do. And so I don't know. Let's see. So I'll show you guys. So we're kind of when working with the original Antitrekker class starship. Let me see. Is this the right? Let's see. That's not the game. That's not it. Let me move it over here. There we go. So this is the ship that George has been working on with me. And so very cool. That saucer section is detachable. And so, which is actually kind of a cool thing. So it's a modular ship. So there's the saucer by itself without the rest of the ship. And then it has an alternate version. There is the base, like, combat version of the ship. And so I love where this is going. I do. I think from both a lore perspective and just as a 3D model, it's coming along very nicely. But good to see you, George. Sci-Fi Sit says, nerd communities use mostly everyone, no matter what their united, mostly everyone, no matter what their politics are. For example, liberal and conservative can say that Darth Vader is their favorite character and ... can talk about how he is their favorite character. That's very true. Or they could argue about why, one of them might think Darth Maul is a better character than Darth Vader, and they can have that argument, even though they'd be wrong. Darth Maul has a cooler lightsaber, but that's about the only thing you can argue for Darth Maul. Sci-Fi Sith, I already read that. LED, I'm literally tearing up right now. Wow, anytime, Andy Trigger. Oh, stop it. All right, you're an idiot. How's that? Better? MLP says, Ed, the state I used to live in before I moved to Wyoming was run by an effing Democrats. I used to live in Washington State in the early 90s, moved to Wyoming in 1994. Wow. And that's a follow-up. I was like, that sounds like I missed something. The first part of that statement was, the education system is a joke. There are too many liberal teachers screwing with kids' minds with political BS. Well, I do think that, the problem with our education system, there's a lot of problems with our education system. And one of those problems, and I know this is where my conservative friends hate me, because I don't hold any kind of party allegiance. Let me say that 100%. I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I'm not a libertarian, technically. I consider myself a classical liberal by most standards. Or I really like, I'm going to have to say, even though he's not here right now, Joseph Petrick nailed it. I am a right-wing liberal. I like that, because that's actually probably the closest thing to an accurate statement about me. Anyway, But so I do not hold any allegiance to any political party, but I know my conservative friends are going to find this very offensive. And I apologize, but that's just the way it's going to be. And that is, the biggest problem with the public education system right now is that it's not run by the federal government. And, oh my God, I know conservatives are pulling out, they're screaming at their monitors right now. But before you scream too much, let me explain. The reason that education is so unbalanced in this country is because we get all hung up on what we refer to as local control over the schools. That is the biggest lie that has been spoon-fed to the public so much. And the reason it's a lie is because local control is just a way of saying rich schools get better funding than poor schools. Schools that are in the inner city, as we like to call it, get crap for funding. Schools that are in country club neighborhoods get country club funding. The schools need to be funded equally across the board, and they all need to have the same base curriculum, period. And the only way to do that is to federalize public schools. And I know that a lot of conservatives hate the idea of federalizing anything, but this is one case where it really should happen. There we go. To get Andy Trigger on your show, contact his agent Murray in Studio City. Wow. If only I had an agent. That would be cool. Malfi says, what is the most wanted thing you want to see in Strange New Worlds? Good Trek. That's it. I don't care about any specific thing. Like, you don't have to bring in a cameo of some certain character. You don't have to bring in some certain starship. You don't have to explain some certain plot hole. I want good Trek. That's it. If it's good Trek, if it feels like effing Trek, I will be happy. If it's more STD crap, I will not be happy. That's where I'm at. Croto says, is that a cam? If you mean on the printer, yes, it is. Not sure. I assume that's what you mean. Let's Talk Star Trek says, Monday we'll be talking about Q at 6:30 Eastern. We see, here's the problem. I will be at work on Monday at 6:30 Eastern, but and that's why I said, hit me up on Twitter. We'll talk about scheduling and stuff, because my schedule is all over the map, and I know it's kind of messed up. Hey dude, here's some good, darn stupid chat jumped on me. Hey dude, here's some good news. Scientists have 3D printed a working heart out of heart cells. First article on Google on a Google search, bud. Very cool, actually. That is awesome news. If they can actually print a working 3D printed heart, what's next? Daniel says, I'm really worried that Marvel will strike Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. out of canon. I don't. You know, here's the thing, Daniel. Don't get upset about it. If you enjoy, the important thing about it is, if you enjoy the show, enjoy the show. Don't worry about it whether it's canon or not. Because if you get obsessed about, if you think that it being canon or not being canon is going to change the quality of the show, here's a news flash. No, it won't. You know what? I know that people like to say, oh, Discovery's not canon because they don't like the way that it doesn't really mesh with the rest of Star Trek. You know what? If Discovery was or was not canon doesn't change the fact that it's unfortunately not, in my opinion, up to the level of being called Star Trek. It's just not a Star Trek show. Doesn't matter if it's canon or not canon. And I know you disagree with me about Discovery, Daniel, but the point about it is just that whether or not it's canon is not relevant to how good it is. Chrono says, I don't agree with you. I know. Let's see. Darren says, you know, the left now says that having a black spouse isn't proof you're not racist. Really? Well, okay. Here's the funny thing. I can understand like the old, well, I have black friends argument. You know, I roll my eyes when I hear that because it's annoying. But if you are married to a person who is of certain ethnicities and stuff, yeah, it's kind of hard to call you a racist, at least a racist against blacks, right? Small Yoda 3's in the house says, I think at least one person in Congress voted against going to war in 1941 because they thought a vote to go to war shouldn't be unanimous. I don't know if that's true or not, but I disagree with that philosophically in that I think if, as a congressperson, your job is to vote on principle regardless of what's popular. And I'm not going to vote against something just because I know everybody else is going to vote for it. I think that's stupid. Let's talk Star Trek. You said what I want for my show. You know Star Trek. Oh, thank you. Daniel says, that's an impressive looking ship, Anti-Tracker. Thank you, Daniel. I know that was a little while ago. Man, well, it wasn't that long. It was 7 minutes ago. But thank you, Daniel. I'm going to be putting it in the cleaner after the show. It's just sitting in a box, not a box, in a plastic tub right now. And then I'm going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner after the show. I'm not going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner now because the ultrasonic cleaner is loud. And I'll turn it on when I go downstairs. But and so then I'll cure it in the morning, and then I'll if I do a live stream tomorrow, I'll show it off then. I don't know if I'll do a live stream tomorrow because it's Saturday, and Saturdays are kind of messy for me. Zachary says, hey, Trigger, how are you? I am fine, Zachary. How are you? Is it being on the crap list a good thing? Well, no. Robert says, any 3D print stuff out there for the Nostromo, the ship from Alien, also the main ship from Aliens? As far as like 3D models, I'm sure they're out there, but I'll be honest with you, Robert, I'm not going to spend a lot of effort trying to 3D print other people's work. That's why like the Wrangler class starship, which I have bits and pieces of everywhere around here, because I've been experimenting with different techniques of 3D printing. I got like various size and some screwed up, some good prints of it. Anyway, it's that ship is entirely my design. I built the 3D model from scratch. I printed it. I'm gonna, as far as stuff that I'm gonna offer for sale, it's 100% my work. I'm not selling other people's work. You're an idiot instead of you're a jerk. Wow, you've changed, Anti-Tracker. I know. I really have. And Grono says, Anti-Tracker, you are at least something. Well, that's true. Everybody is. Tim says, I live in the state of despair. It's right next to Minnesota. I thought that was New Jersey. CNN supports these people, and they attack them for no reason. Well, that's stupid, but yes. MLP says, you're a nerd. Cue Homer Simpson. Let's Talk Star Trek says, let's talk offline about that. You got it. Let's talk Star Trek. The hardest thing is just, I know it's difficult, but send me the message, my friend. If you haven't already, send it to me now, and then that way I can make sure that I have you on my approved list on Twitter. I tend to tune out when you talk about the American education system. I know, Darren. Because, you're not educated. But I'm just kidding. Darren is a very educated man. He's just wrong on a couple of things. When the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was cleaning up the damage from Thor 2 The Dark World, did they find Christopher Eccleston's body? No, because Christopher Eccleston's body would have been in another realm. If you remember at the end of Thor 2, his body was actually transported to one of the other realms. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. But and then the ship was transported to that realm and the ship crashed into him. Oh, DJ says you're turning into LDG. Oh, shut up. Yes, I agree. Schools should be funded equally. Well, there you go. LDG reminds me of the bad guy in BioShock. You're probably right. I disagree with all you said. Let's see. Let's talk. I disagree with all you said, but I would like to talk offline about your view. I'm not sure as far as the school thing. Okay, well, you can disagree with me, but I'm still right. Vile Mike says federalizing the education system. That sounds like socialism. Well, and that's the problem. We get hung up on these ideologies: socialism, communism, capitalism, whatever it may be. Yes, there are people in this country, mostly on the political left, obviously, but that think that capitalism is a horrible thing, just like there are people in this country that think that socialism and communism are horrible things, right? And here's the thing. Again, I do not hold myself to a particular political party or a particular political system. I want a system that works as best as it possibly can. And as far as education is concerned, I think that education does need to be the purview of the government. It should not be a privatized education system. I don't care if there's private schools that are alternatives to public education, but I do not think that education in and of itself should be a private institution. And everybody needs a good education. It is critical that people get a good education. When we talk about equal opportunity in this country, it is all about education. And that's part of the reason that many in the inner cities are struggling right now, is because they get absolute crap for education. You'd have to change the Constitution to federalize the school system because the states have authority over education. Oh, that one, you know what, Joseph? I keep calling you Joseph out of habit because of Joseph Petrick. But here's the thing. If you want to get technical about it, you'd have to change the Constitution to have any kind of universal health care. Oh, but wait a minute. They just do it anyway. DJ wasn't trying to be a creeper last night. He was told to say Mrs. Anchecker was hot by Mamo Prey. Apparently, everyone was supposed to. Well, apparently only DJ listened to Mamo Prey, so shame on the rest of you. Because Mamo Prey is the greatest prey that there is. Kronos likes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. For you, federal control education system may sound good, but be careful, because power will eventually corruption even the most honest people that want federal control education system. I understand what you're saying there, Sci-Fi Sit Dan, and here's the thing. I get it. The federal government has not had the best of track records with stuff. But at the same time, and this is the big problem with the federal system in the United States, is the fact that the Constitution was set up to prevent tyranny, and ever since then, the politicians have been trying to do everything they can to get around the Constitution. Think about that for a minute. Neil Norman says, I tweeted you about news on Season 2 of Picard, and I'm not looking forward to that trash. And DJ says, Anchecker, it's not canon. Well, okay. Worry about canon usually gets you figuratively shot out of one. Hey, you used figuratively correctly. Thank you, Tim. Life with Matthews in the house says, golly gee, gosh darn, good evening. I know that's not exactly what he said, but that's what... it's funny, because Life with Matthew is one of those people that I can't read his comments without hearing his voice reading it. And so I just see... He's just like, oh, golly gee, it's great to be here. And I know I make fun of Life with Matthew, but he understands why. Thomas says, if the same actor is playing the same character in a movie and a TV show, is it canon? Not necessarily. I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. By the way, think about this, Thomas. Never Say Never Again, James Bond was played by Sean Connery, and that is not canon. I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Checker. I'm going to miss the show. I've only watched the first couple of seasons of it. Honestly, it never really hooked me, but I know a lot of people love it, and it's too bad if it, I want good shows. And while it might not be my bag, if you guys enjoy it, I'm sorry that you won't get to enjoy it forever. Live with Matthew says, rioting happening here in Dallas. I'm very disappointed in them. Well, that's because it's Dallas. Daniel says, if it's not canon, then it's meaningless. It's just not real and therefore worthless because it did not happen. Daniel, no. Here's the problem. And this is where hold on to your hats. I'm going to agree with Steve Shives for just a minute. In that, in and of itself, any television show, any movie, whatever, is entertainment. The idea of its existence is to do nothing but give you pleasure. It is designed to entertain you, period. If it entertains you, it's not meaningless. Now, yes, it can have additional meaning if it builds into a larger universe. But you know what? It ultimately just matters if you enjoy it. Let's see. Where were we? Chrono says, my armpits hurt. Well, I'm sorry. A sonic cleaner isn't silent. Who would have thought? Yeah, I know. Crazy, isn't it? Lancer says, voting on war like that could easily be hampered also. The foreign enemies could buy off a senator to never vote for war, especially if it's a war that the country is paying that senator. Well, I get that, but here's the thing. Yeah, senator or congressman, their job is to vote their principles, period. Not to, and that's a big, big problem with politicians are voting basically not based on what they really believe. They're voting based on what they think will get them reelected. Though a few people talking to Life with Matthew about various random crap, because Life with Matthew apparently is a robot. Mr. Captain says, Karoga operators called and asked me to donate money for their orphans. What should I do? You should give all your money to me, because unlike the Karoga operators, I am actually attempting to produce stuff for you guys. I thought Christopher Eccleston turned into David Tennant. Well, that's true, but not in Thor the Dark World. Oh, yeah, by the way, nothing is fair in the world. That's very true. Robert says, who remembers First Wave? What did people think about it? Perhaps some channels like Anti-Trekker should cover it. Someone asked me to do that, and I don't remember if... I don't think it was you, Robert, but someone asked me to do a review of First Wave a long time ago, and I'm so far behind on stuff. I do actually. Was that you, Robert? If it was, I'm sorry, man, that I've never gotten around to it, because that actually is an interesting movie. Andrew, Wesley Snipes is hinting that he may return to the Blade reboot, but as who? I hear rumors he's maybe Dracula in the MCU, but others say maybe Whistler. I don't know. If Wesley came back, I haven't seen what he looks like these days, so I don't know. But quite frankly, I don't think he should be Dracula, because Dracula's nationality is known, and his nationality ain't African. Sorry. But I could see him being Whistler if, if you want to race bend Whistler. But I don't think, honestly, the main black character in Blade is supposed to be Blade. So, yeah. Darth Maul says, do you think the public should get paid for Google and Facebook like organizations? Wait, do you think the public should get paid for Google and Facebook like organizations to monetize our data information? Not if you give it freely. I don't like the gummit.
Hello, world.
Okay. And Live with Matthew donated $1. Thank you so much.
I got him! Great kid! Don't get cocky!
Who will join me in looting Adult Mart? They are run by Wiccan Harry Potter supporters. Gosh, they make me mad.
Wow. So you heard it here first. Adult Mart is Wiccans. And so Live with Matthew is going to loot them. Zachary says, whether Democrat or Republican, equal funding is needed, but testing should be left up to individual states. I disagree. Because as soon as you make if you make any part of the education system like that, if you try to make, oh, well, we don't want standardized testing, why? Why shouldn't every kid be held to the same standard? As soon as you say, oh, the kids in this state don't need to be held to the same standards as the kids from that state, you're setting up inequality. No. And LDG donates $2. Thank you, my friend. I shouldn't say friend because you're going to get all teary-eyed.
Thank you, WHO ever said that.
WHO? The thing can't tell the word who? But, yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to specifically. Maybe the Life with Matthew super chat. But anyway, here's the Zachary. So if you change the for example, let's say mathematics, right? So you say, okay, everybody has to have a fundamental understanding of algebra to graduate high school. But if you're in Mississippi, you have to know calculus. And if you're in California, you only have to know basic arithmetic. So now you have kids in Mississippi that have a huge advantage over kids in California. And so then these kids go to apply for college, and the college says, oh, you want to be a math professor, but in California you only have to know basic arithmetic, and in Mississippi you got to know calculus. We'll take the Mississippi kid. All right, so no, you do not you do not make testing arbitrary. You have to have standardized testing. That is absolutely imperative. Mr. Captain says, I had a thought about Pike Trek. I think it would be cool if the opening scene would be Spock saying the Enterprise was being rerouted, and then it goes 10 years earlier, so the menagerie, one of two, is ongoing throughout the Pike series. That could be interesting, but I don't think that'll work. Mike says, people need to be educated that even in a socialist system, capitalism can still exist. Look at something like police, just because the police are socialized. Well, that's the thing, and doesn't mean capitalistic professions are like security guard, bodyguards, bounty hunters, private investigators cannot exist. Well, here's the problem, and this is what people don't understand. You could have socialist things in a non-socialist system, right? Just because school is socialist and actually, yeah, school is socialist in nature doesn't mean that you're a socialist country just because you have public education, right? We need public education. And I'm sorry to anybody that thinks that we should 100% privatize education. You're wrong. Cronus says, I only have so many middle fingers. Wow. Not sure why you're saying that. Daniel says, Anchor, I got some leaked spoilers from the TV series Loki. I don't want to know them. Don't want to know. Live Matthew is singing, It's a Beautiful Day in My Neighborhood. Could you be my neighbor? Well, apparently not if they're a Wiccan. That's, Live with Matthew, you want to have some fun? You need to recreate the Mr. Rogers opening and sing that song, except throw in a couple of lyrics about how evil Wiccans are, that they can't be your neighbor. They're starting a relief fund for the Remans. They're being relocated to Kashyyyk with Master Yoda to stay with the Wookiees. Wookiees love ramen noodles. Everything will be okay. That's the funny. The Remans are all apparently dead. Crow says, you like to argue a lot, don't you? I do. I'm not wearing a hat at the moment. Horrible of you. Thomas says, sorry, but I believe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter are canon. I don't know. And quite frankly, it doesn't really matter to me because I don't watch either show. But it doesn't ultimately matter. If you enjoy the show, enjoy the show. John DeMarco says, agreeing with Steve Shives. Who are you? What have you done with Andy Trekker? And then MLP says, agree with Steve Shives, of all people, who are you and what have you done with the Andy Trekker? Oh, man. LDG says, someone please give me a link to on this Bioshock bad guy. Look it up. Play Bioshock. Even better. Never Say Never Again is a remake of Thunderball. Also, before calling your ship the Wrangler class, you might want to IMDb Jack Wrangler as a phallic ship might get you an LGBT audience. Well, the Wrangler class is named after the Jeep Wrangler. Chrono says, Andy Jugger, you should run for something. No, I am. First of all, I'm too honest to be a politician. And, yeah. And I'm in an interracial marriage, so, yeah, that would not help. What are the Korogan Olympics? Oh, you've never heard of the Special Olympics? I mean, the Korogan Olympics? I'm thinking of binge watching a series called Devs. Have you seen it? Any good? I have not seen it. Don't know anything about it. And Vile Mike is sending to LGD a picture. I assume a picture of. Let me see what is it. Yeah, a little bio of Andrew Ryan, also known as LDG Pixels. And I'm not something anything with babies, by the way. I'm not something anything with babies, by the way. Kronos, you completely lost me. That sentence makes no sense to me, and I haven't had that much to drink. Robert says, no, it wasn't me. Okay, whew. And let's see. Kronos says, seeing. Believing? DJ says, what about Blackula from the 70s? Don't get me started on that. And LDG says, jackpot. Okay. First Wave, not so much. You should cover the semi-reality sci-fi show Dark Skies. It had a pre-Voyager Jerry Ryan and was like the X-Files mixed with real events. Dark Skies sounds familiar, but I don't remember. Vile Mike says, Wesley Snipes should play a vampire that does not believe he should pay tribute to the vampire lords. Yes! Renegade said, I don't want him to play a role like Dracula or Whistler, but Wesley Snipes, I mean, I don't know what he looks like these days. I mean, if he's in good shape, he could still play Blade, but if he's not in good shape, then he should just not be in it. There's a reason vampires are European and not African. It's because the rain in Africa is holy water, you see. Bless the rains down in Africa. Oh, that's like the longest pun ever. And it was not worth it. Did you hear Henry Cavill will come back as Superman the DCEU and tracker? Only downside is it won't be a solo film. I have not heard that. I'm kind of surprised that the DCEU hasn't just been completely canceled. Hello, Michael. Sorry for the delays. Among the live streams I'm watching, along with brand new RR The Streets. Well, that's okay, Donnie. You're always welcome. Neonormy says, with the Twitch deer person being a deer skin, is there Karoga otherkin named the Karogakins? I'm afraid of answering that. Josh says, someone claiming to be the crown princess of Bunnyland, DJ Odyssey, sent an email asking for money for his queen, Bird of Prey 5. Yeah, you should definitely only send your money to me, because I'm the only one that wants to get a Pianodean Noir printer, and I need to raise $3,600 for one. And Dreamers out there says, you're locked in an elevator with Kurtzman. What do you do? All right, I'll reenact it for you. Oh, the elevator's stuck. Wait. You're Alex Kurtzman, aren't you? Why? Why? Why did you do this to us? And tell me why I shouldn't kill you right now. And there's a super chat for what I just said.
Locked in an elevator with Kurtman. What do you do?
So there you go. I just answered it. LAPD is out in riot gear downtown. Got some friends in uniform. Prayers would be welcome for them and their fellow officers. Absolutely. I not only for the officers, but for the business owners and you know, even the rioters. I don't want any more, you know, hurt, death, whatever. I just wish that these people that are out there just to cause trouble, I wish they wouldn't. LOL, you like professors? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. You know that teacher and professor are making a mess. You know that teacher and professor are making a mess of things, right, Anti-Checker? I'm not sure what professor did I mention? I'm a little confused. Neonormies, well, I'm a lot of confused actually. Neonormie says, the only way your views are going to work is if you get a social libertarian party in power. I know, and that's why it'll never happen. Viamike says, yes, thank you, because something is socialistic does not mean the entire country has to be socialist. Damn it, you've got to agree with me on something, jerk. Yeah, it happens every once in a while, you know, broken clock. Renegade says, in Australia, education is the prelude of the states and our constitution is practical. And Nightbreeze donated $2.
I got him! Great kid! Don't get
Killing me, Nightbreeze.
All hail Hypnoturd.
All right.
When a humble
Hey,
turd
turn this off.
raced around.
All hail the Hypnoturd. You must give yourself to the Hypnoturd. The Hypnoturd is life. The Hypnoturd is love. The Hypnoturd knows you. For the Hypnoturd is you. You must give to the Hypnoturd. Give everything you have, everything you are, everything you will have goes to the Hypnoturd.
There you go. Little Hypnoturd action. Renegade says, okay, in Australia, education is the prelude of the states. It's the prelude of the states. I assume you mean purview of the states. And our constitution is practically impossible to change. So we form the national standards, outcomes the states agreed to achieve, but it's up to the states on how to achieve them. That's an interesting way to do it. But yeah, so yeah. Wow, Shive's still a thing? Not really. Mr. Captain says, it's a beautiful day in Karoga, Karoga world, a beautiful day in Karoga. Won't you be my orphan? Wow. Oh, man. Yeah, let's see. Where were we? Zachary says, all the miners are allowed to participate in the Krogan Olympics. Yes, that's true. Yes, seriously, Picard was all about saving the Romulans, but the Remans, screw them! Clearly, the Remans are the Karoga of the Star Trek world. You are 100% right. Darth Maul says, and the chat, who's in the remake of Vampire? And the chat, who's in for a remake of Vampire in Brooklyn? Eddie Murphy can make a cameo. No. That was a horrible movie. Yes, Dark Skies is about the U.S. government being taken over and infiltrated by shape-shifting aliens. I missed that show. I've never seen it. Damn it, I think Anti-Checker is a future version of me. Trek fan. No. Political affiliation. Snarky daughter. Mixed race relationship. A jerk. Except he is, a hobbit. Not a hobbit. I'm just 900 years old, so I'm like Yoda. Hello, just saw your title. No, we cannot just not riot. What kind of country do you take us for? Wow, Zabe. Wow. Judicon says, hail. How you doing, Judicon? Welcome. And I hope I didn't butcher your name. CNN Atlanta got raided. Wow, yeah, that's not good. Oh, great. Now I have a song in my brain. I'm sorry. Live with Matthew says, LOL, well, what a well-timed super chat. Yeah. Neodori says, Stipes looks really good. I watched the Netflix comedy They Call Me Dolomite, where he is powerful and the role is very funny. I haven't seen him in a while. The British chick sounds hot. Well, she's a robot, but okay. If I were in an elevator with Alex Kurtzman, I would get the garlic seasoning out and slowly roast him over a fire and eat him because I need protein every 15 minutes. Wow. So in Loki will be... I'm not going to read any spoilers. Don't tell me any spoilers. Okay, gotta go. Later, folks. Have a good insert relative time period here, everyone. Send me a Skype message when the ships are ready. Will do. Vile Mike, if you're still here, thank you for hanging out. I love you, man. And even though you're a liberal jerk. Oh, apparently they opened UPS truck. They opened a UPS truck in Minneapolis and started throwing boxes. That really helps justice for all cause. Yeah. Hope you didn't order a cell phone or... yeah. Oh, man. Foley is streaming at the same time as me. That jerk. So Foley is just trying to hone in on my late night action now. Tweeting the address of people is a violation of Twitter TOS, yet Twitter does nothing. But if I use the T word to describe riots, I can get banned. Yeah, there is no bias. I know. And here's the thing. That's why, you know, I fully support Trump in the executive order. Repeal 230. And the funny thing is, I said repeal 230, and then Trump tweeted today, repeal 230. Conan says, wow, you sound creepy. Be glad that Captain Batman, a.k.a. Keep Michaels Awake, isn't here. We don't ask for the hypno turd at the end of the street to keep it going. That's true. I miss Captain Batman, though. I hope he and his new bride are doing well. I truly do. But I do miss him. Mr. Captain says, watching what is going on in the States right now reminds me of the Gabriel Bell riots from DS9, and they were in the 2020s. That's true. Well, maybe, but, you know, and it's funny because, you know, maybe Gabriel Bell was actually George and not Gabriel. How do you think it works if race begins colonizing their let's see. How do you think it works if race begins colonizing their solar system to find out everything beyond their system belongs to the Federation and they have a problem with that? How do you think it works? Oh, if a race begins colonizing their solar system and finds out that everything beyond their solar system belongs to the Federation, they have a problem with that. Well, that's why the Federation goes out of their way to make contact with people as they develop faster than light travel. They got some riot-like activity in front of the White House. No riots yet. Oh, I hope not. Man, that would be bad. As long as Captain Foley is pulling a drunk Foley, then you have nothing to worry about. Well, you know, but I love Captain Foley. I do. I one of these days got to get him back on again. Chrono says, you took that out of context. Well, of course I did. Trump watches anti-tracker confirmed. That would be hilarious if he did. And if he did, Trump, please do me a favor and tell everybody they should subscribe to my channel. Granted, that means all the liberals will unsubscribe from my channel, but it would also mean that I probably get 100,000 subscribers overnight. So please, tell them to subscribe to my channel. Maybe Star Trek predicted Trump, Colonel Green, and Gary 7, Neil Breen. I don't think Trump is Colonel Green. Wow, that's low. Edgetrigger, WandaVision will come out in December 2020, and Black Widow will come out in November. I am really looking forward to WandaVision on Disney+. Black Widow, I'll tell you this. I will definitely go watch it in theaters. However, am I as stoked for that as I was about, say, Black Panther or Doctor Strange or any of the other recent introductions in the MCU? No. Chrono says, wow, that was a political joke. I do that sometimes. How quickly you abandon your liberal friends just for the 100K subs. I know, I'm so bad, but yes, for 100,000 subs for a Trump shout out, I would probably do. Yes. If I were you, I'd want a Trump donation. Yeah, that would be nice. Whew. Trump could spare some money. And that's the thing, you know, I do, you know, I gotta say, I know that I've talked about it a lot lately, and I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but when I can get the Pianodean Noir printer, I'm really excited about what that thing is capable of doing. And so it's basically the same type of printer as the one that you see on the screen right now, but has a much larger print volume, and it's actually a faster printer because it uses a more advanced LED screen. And so, yeah, it will make it'll be freaking awesome when I can get that. And instead of, you know, trying to print 1 or 2 of these in 16 hours, if I can print 20 of them in 16 hours, that's what the Pianodean is capable of. And so that means that, you know, I'll be able to print a run of these at a time and then focus on building my next 3D model and stuff instead of constantly having to tweak the settings on the printer to try and get a decent run out on, you know, because this thing at the most can print 2. Is Trump Kodos? Definitely not. Maybe Bird of Prey 5 is Khan? Wow, I thought eugenics was supposed to improve the human race. Croto says, stop the presses, you're talking. Yeah, I do talk sometimes. Ronry. Mr. Cat says, ever wonder if there are aliens? Who owns the area's space, like how we own land, and an alien owns our solar system? We're basically an anthill on that property. You know, that's an interesting idea and a scary one, but, you know, honestly, you know, the funny thing is, I remember something that Carl Sagan said, is that a Star Wars, and yes, he was referring to the movie, would never really happen. Because if two alien civilizations actually met, one would be so much more advanced than the other. And President Trump donated $5.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky!
You have a tremendous YouTube channel and you do a tremendous job. I give more than Creepy Joe.
Well, thank you, President Trump. Although you're a billionaire, so you think you could spare another $3,000? Oh, actually, let me see. Let me look. What's the price tag on it? $3,699. So that I can order the Piopoli. Well, plus tax. So we'll just say $4,000. So I can get the Piopoli Phenom Noir. I would appreciate that, Mr. President. Anyway, now I can't remember what I was saying. Andrew, guess who is being the WandaVision? Kat Dennings, the dumb, annoying girl from Thor movies, the girl who pronounces Thor's hammer as Mew Mew. What's Mew Mew? I actually like Kat Dennings in the Thor movies. I gotta be honest. I like her more than Jane Foster. I think Jane Foster is blah. Jeff says, do you play the lottery? I do buy a lottery ticket once a week. So far, haven't won. So... wow, Amtrak almost caught up. Yeah, it happens every now and then. If Trump Thomas says, Trump was a dictator, why are the riot? If Trump was a dictator, why are the riots still happening? Because he's not a dictator. It could be worse, a.k.a. Obummers. You were talking about Carl Sagan. Oh, thank you. Yes, Carl Sagan. So he said Star Wars would never happen because if two opposing civilizations actually met, one would be so incredibly advanced compared to the other one that basically either the less advanced civilization would benefit from their encounter or would be exterminated. That's the only two possible outcomes. Anyway, and of course, and Dreamers Out There also says, I was talking about Carl Sagan saying Star Wars would never happen. While you're at it, get President Trump to send me a few thousand too. Will do, Jeff. As soon as President Trump actually contacts me, I will tell him to send you a few thousand. Actually, I'll probably ask him for about 100,000 just to put a little seed money in there, make sure I get enough resin. I can remodel the anti-cave a little bit and get things going full bore. But what if it was a Star War that ended as a civil war? Well, that's the only way it could really happen. Michael says, Trump is a dick, though. That is true. But yes. Mr. Cap says, worst alien species in Star Trek is... You know, I want to say Kazon. Because I always refer to the Kazon as just like the low-rent, broccoli-headed Klingons. So I'm going to go with Kazon. Neil Normie says, will Trump or Biden be the president that we will see the death of the petrodollar as it usually was, as it recently was negative numbers? I don't know. And Night Breeze puts in a buck. Thank you, Night Breeze. Just puts in a buck because you're an awesome guy. Anyway, Neil Normie, it says, do I think that Trump or Biden will be the president that sees the death of the petrodollar, as in like petroleum, as it recently went negative numbers? Well, here's the problem. Is that right now, yes, the dollar is not looking particularly good, but neither is any, the futures of every single currency on the planet is in grave, grave danger. We are treading on very thin ice, people, and the economic systems around the world are genuinely on the verge of collapse. And I hope that doesn't happen, but it could. And so, yeah, we got, oh, man. It's weird how you Americans refer to the president, regardless of who's in office, with such reverence. Here we call the prime minister, regardless of who's in office, a word starting with a C. Well, we actually, you see, that's the difference between us and you, Renegade. We respect our elected officials. I would call President Obama Mr. President. I would call President Trump Mr. President. That is what you address the President of the United States as, is Mr. President. Or Mrs. President if there's ever a female. And Joe Biden donates $1.
I have a new idea. I'm doing a ship quiz. Please check Twitter.
Okay, so Joe Biden wants to do a ship quiz. All right, so let me go to Twitter here. All right, so all right, so Joe Biden wants to do a ship quiz. So the first person who can name this particular starship gets a free super chat. Oh, wrong screen. That's the Pianodean Noir. There it is. There's the ship. Name that ship. First person to name that ship gets a free super chat. Thank you, Joe Biden, for the ship quiz. Oh, man, you got me there. Oh, Joe, help me out, buddy. So let's see who can name it. USS. Let's see. We got the Crazy Horse Mustang. Crazy Horse Mustang. I don't know. I think I think Crazy Horse is actually the winner. So John DeMarco, good job. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. Neo Normie was first with it. Neo Normie, good job. You get to pick a super chat, Neo Normie. So throw it at me, and I will play it for you, Neo Normie. The USS Crazy Horse. Wow. And so, Neo Normie, do you have a number 12? You got it. Where is it? There we go.
What's up, guys? Welcome to The Lore Reloaded. I am The Lore Reloaded, your wondrous host.
You're so bad that when you come on screen, people don't drink. They punch themselves in the dick for 5 straight minutes.
Very true. That's what people do when they watch Lore Reloaded. K's upright, long lost relatives of the Klingons. Dreamers out there says, being a Trek fan, you should get a paper mache, plaster Paris, and other kinds of crafting putty and resins to create your own planet hell and make it an actual anti-cave. You know, that would be freaking awesome to do. If I had, because I have, like the space you can see around me. Yeah, make it into a classic Star Trek set. That would be a lot of fun. If I had the time, the money, and the physical ability, I would do that. An interesting battle between the Hirogen from Voyager and a Predator. Wonder who would win. Anyway. That's actually an interesting idea. I don't know. The Kazons, the species so lame that the Borg consider them unworthy of assimilation. Yes. And Crow says, I don't respect some officials. Well, I respect our elected officials. I do. Thomas says, ship quiz. What the F was that? Oh, man. That was an interesting ship quiz. We need an anti-Trekker super PAC. Indeed. The difference is that instead of trying to get political influence, my super PAC will be trying to get a starship in everybody's pocket. Or shelf, I guess. And so, yeah, hopefully that print is going good. I can't quite tell yet. But I'm going to raise it up out of the platform for a minute to make sure the print is going good so far before I go to bed. I'm talking print, painting, and everything. Make the anti-cave set that looks like a place a child would want to hang out and play in the Children's Museum. I agree. I think that would be awesome. And you can see, like, I got this whole room behind me. Like, it's hard to tell, but that window that you can see there is about 10 feet away. So there's actually a lot of room that I could work with right there. But unfortunately, resources. That's the problem. Mr. Cap says, you have spinning Spock. Can we get a spinning bird? That would be awesome. Actually, I am working on a bird of prey design model, but the problem is that I'm trying to learn how to do sculpting in Blender, and I'm just barely scratching the surface, and because I need to be able to sculpt an accurate image of bird's face. The funny thing is, the USS Crazy Horse is actually a pretty cool name for a combat ship. I believe there was a Crazy Horse in Trek. That's why I gave it to the Neo-Normie. Nightbreeze says, can we see Bird crash into the asteroid? Well, let me see if let's see. You know, one of these days I'm going to have to actually save that as a super chat. But let me... Oh, gosh. I'm trying to remember if it was on Skype or is it on Twitter. I think it's on Skype, but I'm not 100% sure. And that would be under tone. Oh, no, I think it is Twitter. Dang it. All right, well, let me go back to Twitter. And go here. No, maybe it is Skype. Dang it. Where did you send it to me, Thomas? Let's see. Alright, there's that, there's that, there's that. Scrolling back. Bird of Prey versus Tower. Oh, that's the other one. I love that one too. Let's go to... Keep going back. There's Joe Biden saying stupid things. I know Joe Biden saying stupid things is incredible. Pentagon releases UFO info. Alright, let's try in here. Oh, okay, yeah, it is on Skype. Wow. Alright. Alright, so getting it ready here for you. Let me see. I think we need... Alright.
Actually moves pretty damn well for a spaceship. Now, not all the engines were in the final.
Is it? I'm playing it on the wrong screen, so you guys can't see it. Of course, like a freaking idiot. All right.
And this thing actually moves pretty damn well for a spaceship. Now, not all the engines were in the final locations because I never quite finished, and I didn't add any weapons. But yeah, this would have been the ship that would have taken on the Goliath had the battle ever happened.
There it is. Bird of Prey 5 and his brilliant piloting skills. Because Bird of Prey 5 is Bird of Prey 5. How interesting would it be if the 1701 under Kirk was lost in the Delta Quadrant? I think it depends on the writing. You can do what you want to, at least you aren't in China. That's true. Neil Normie says, have you seen many of the Star Trek adult movies and comedy parodies of Trek, like Saturday Night Live, Love Boat, and The Next Generation? Yes. Well, I haven't seen the adult movies of Trek, but although someone did ask me to do a review of one of the Star Trek porn movies at one point. But I have seen, like, when William Shatner and when Patrick Stewart hosted Saturday Night Live, both were hilarious. Set a course, Mr. Data, for love. When are you going to get the green screen back up? I need to do that soon, but I'm not quite having... I'm trying to get things arranged. That's why, like, with the 3D printer, you know, that you see dipping in the resin there, that took precedence. But now that I got that going pretty regularly, I'm going to start working on getting the room set up again for the 3D, or for the green screen. Australians know policies are crap, so we don't waste time and aren't disappointed. We also have mandatory voting, so there's a lot more consensus on how less of an a-hole each election. Well, that's good. Christopher says, sorry about midnight. I was watching Netflix with the missus, and I agree with the title of this video. Indeed, my friend, thank you. The Crazy Horse was the ship to attack Cisco and the Jem'Hadar ship, if I recall. I can't remember, but I know that the Crazy Horse was mentioned. Bird trashing Gowron 5 seconds before he supports Kuroga is still the best. That's true. That was a freaking blast right there. Let me see. Do I have that one handy? And I got one. That's Alexander visits Kuroga. Death to Kuroga. Bird admits to cheating. Death to Kuroga 2. Klingon chant. Dang it, I don't think I have that one queued up. Let's see. So, no, doesn't look like I... Oh, what's that one? No, that's Steve Shives. Shirtless Foley. Alexander. Although, this one, I still do love this one.
Death to Kuroga!
Ah, yes. That one always makes you feel good. Ah, here we go.
I need someone I can trust.
No, that's not it. Let's see. All Hail Kuroga. What's that? What's that one?
Martok's the changeling!
All hail Kuroga.
Yeah, that's proof that Martok as a changeling was in fact the actual one that said Hail Kuroga.
Bird of Prey 5 says, Kapla, JG. Kuroga still believes in you, even if you don't believe in us. It's a good day to smash a turd. Hail Kuroga.
Death to Kuroga.
I love that one. That's like the best one of all of them because nobody asked him to say that. He just said it. All right. Thomas resent it. Oh, well, I already played it, but thank you, Thomas. Daniel says, I wish they made Tobey Maguire Spider-Man as part of the MCU. There were rumors that Tobey would been in the MCU Spider-Man back in the day, and there are still rumors that Tobey Maguire. I don't think he will. And I wouldn't get obsessed over it, my friend. Was the USS Crazy Horse the first Excelsior class scene in TNG? That might be too, yeah. The original name for the Apache attack helicopter was the Bell called the Bell Industries Crazy Horse. I didn't know that. I think a Turkestan saying, and everyone has to go fill up Dear Bop with that saying now. The Crazy Horse was 24th century Excelsior class entry, first mentioned in the episode Descent, and then shown in the episode Pegasus. Wow, there's a lot of references to the Crazy Horse. Pianodean says, never ceases to make me kneel over laughing. You're talking about Bird. I think Bird of Prey must have had Troy at the helm. No, that was Bird at the helm. Bird makes Troy look like a great starship pilot. Bird of Prey 5, more like Pancake. Birdo Pancake, yes. Jim Carrey does an amazing parody of William Shatner doing Kirk. Must be special talent Canadians have. Must be. We still need the Anti-Cam. I know, and Auntie is actually... I don't think... Is she up here right now? Yeah, she is. She's sleeping. She's diligently sleeping. Dip It in the Resin sounds like a good song. Pianodean, write that down. Darth Ball says, if I had time to edit that Bird of Prey 5 clip with people running for cover and falling buildings from Man of Steel and other disaster movies, I would make you a super chat. That's awesome. Is there a Kurogan Chemstar? Or Keemstar. I don't even know what Keemstar is. So, yeah. Please check Twitter, says Thomas. Ah, jeez, you're killing me, Thomas. Are you? Is that where you sent the? Hold on. Go down to the new. I don't remember that one. All right, let's see. Fuck. So this is another one from Thomas. Hold on. I'm not sure what this is.
Okay, atmospheric thrusters enabled. Come on, don't you hit. Oh, a bitch. Oh. It looks like boobies.
Oh, Bird. Only Bird of Prey. Only Bird of Prey. And so It looks like boobies. General Martok remembers his friends and enemies. Indeed. Dip in the resin, set to smoking in the boys' room. Wow. Bird yelling son of a bitch makes for a great turn to stand propaganda. No, it's not propaganda at all. It's just Bird saying that. That's his favorite thing to say. I have dust in my eyes, no soot. Dan says, Ben Reilly was a clone of Spider-Man in the comics. This is how we can do it when Spider-Man gets shattered dimensions. Move. No, Madam Web. No, I don't want any Madam Web. I hate Madam Web. No, I'm done. No. Zachary says, Captain Foley's playing a jet fighter game right now, hopefully destroying Kurogans. Let's see. What's Cat? I assume he's doing that on Trek Yards. So let's see. So he's playing a jet fighter game. Let's see. Man, helps if I can type. Time to kick the tires and light the fire. So yes, he is playing a jet fighter game. So should we switch over there? There's Captain Foley playing his game. How many people have we got watching? 25 watching right now. And we've got 53. I got double the audience of Trek Yards. Why the hell don't I have 55,000 subscribers like Trek Yards? What's the problem here? I got double Captain Foley's audience. Granted, he's...
Kurogans don't have jets, man. They got biplanes. World War I.
What do you say something about Kurogans having jets? Rewind it a little bit.
I said. Bandit is down. We're not picking up any more on radar.
Kurogans don't have jets, man. They got biplanes.
They have biplanes. Yes, very true. All right, so everybody go over to Trek Yard. Say hi to Captain Foley. Tell him Anti-Trekker says hi. I'm going to be wrapping up in a couple of minutes anyway. All right, one small step for Kuroga, one pair of boobies for Kurogan kind. Yes, you are correct. It's soot. Yes. Josh says, Captain Foley's playing Ace Combat 7. Is that what that is? I have no idea. Funny, the evolution of your channel. It used to be all lore stuff like shields, everything, Bird, son of a bitch. Thomas says, I'm so glad we have Bird of Prey 5. YouTube will feel empty without him. What did I just say? I love Bird. You know that. If you're not subscribed to Bird of Prey 5, you absolutely owe it to yourself. He is the most entertaining live streamer of all. And yes, he is a better live streamer than me. I said it. The success of Into the Spider-Verse with Peter B. Parker being practically Tobey Maguire has ruled out the MCU getting him. Hopefully you're right. Foley said Kurogans don't have jets, they have biplanes. Yes, which I love that. It's all in Captain Foley's haircut. That's why he's more successful. Dang. Cronus says, please don't wrap it up. I got to, Cronus. I got to get some sleep. I work early on Saturdays. That's what sucks for me. My schedule is like all over the place. And Continuum says, good morning, Trigger. How are you? I'm hanging in there, my friend. Thank you. John says, Bird of Prey 5 is great. Bird is a gem. He absolutely is. And, Bird of Prey is such a great guy. And he is a true inspiration to me. And I absolutely mean that because man, more than anybody else, he could be sitting there bitching about his life right now, and he doesn't. He is such a positive guy, and he's so freaking hilarious with his humor. And Eric throws $5 in. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate it, my friend. And I'll let the automated voice read it in just a moment, but thank you. I always, I'm always humbled by your super chats. And I truly appreciate it, and I'm hoping that even though I'm going to be printing these out on this printer is very limited to what it's capable of. I can't wait until I can get a bigger printer and get them out at a much faster pace. And any day now, come on, computer. I thought I stalled long enough.
They got me! We've lost Halo 2.
Seriously, Eric's super chat's just not going to pop up. Really? Okay, fine. So Eric puts in $5. Thank you, Eric. Hello, world. I give up.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
If China wasn't laughing at us before, now Dare's sitting in a recliner with a bucket of popcorn saying this is going better than we planned. Disappointed face.
You know, the sad thing is, Eric, I think you're right. Oh, man. It is a mess out there. Death Dealer says, good night. Thank you, my friend. I'm surprised the anti-hero Puma hasn't appeared in the Spider-Man movies. He might still. You don't know. The only good thing about Picard was you and Bird talking at 3:30 a.m. Thank you, Dean. I truly appreciate that. How's Baby Bender doing? Well, we have the original Baby Bender right here, and we have the resin Baby Bender right here. They're both doing good. I think the disembodied voice is the BLM riots. I hope not. Have a great night. Thank you, Night Breeze. Mr. Cass says, computer. Hello, computer. Keyboard. How quaint. Your lack of videos this past year has forced me to unsub. Sorry, pal, but I'm in this for the vids, not stupid live streams. I understand that, Captain Redneck, and welcome, by the way, which is why it's been a very rough time for me. I'm not going to lie, but I'm not going to make excuses. And that's why I got that Hulk video out today, and I'm hoping that it's the first of many videos to get into the regular stuff. So thank you for stopping by, Captain Redneck, and I truly hope that you will give me another chance. Bert was showing pictures earlier today of his cabin he used to visit. I feel for him. I know that he wishes he could walk again and drive a Jeep. I'm telling you right now, Bird will walk again. He absolutely will. The anti-computer not only achieves sentience, but has a sense of humor as well. That's a scary thought. I wouldn't know because I never did, but I think Streamlabs donations come through quicker than YouTube. I think you're right, Thomas. And no, I know you've never, ever done it. All right, guys. So, if you want to have some fun, go hang out with Captain Foley over on Trek Yards. If you want to not have fun, I'm sure that LDG Pixels will be streaming soon because he streams like 18 hours a day. But anyway, guys, take care, have fun, buy bonds, and bye-bye.
Making your way with the nerds today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from hating JJ sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to just get laid? Sometimes you wanna go where all the Trekkies know your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be in a galaxy where Star Trek isn't lame. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. Turds of a feather flock together, that's what we believe. We know a place that's got you covered, a place to get relief. Wouldn't you like to say me poo? Sometimes you wanna go where Turner-Stannies know your name, and all Kurogans are to blame. You wanna be where you can see Kuroga go up in flames. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
You son of a bitch, anti-tracker!